Welcome back, everybody, to Creating Communities for Neurodivergent People, for social community, residential community, and employment that in and of itself creates community, but employment for the special skills and talents that everybody has. We have two goals for this episode. Goal number one is to encourage any parent listening that has any level of entrepreneurial spirit, encouraging you to really consider opening a business where you can employ special needs people. It's an unbelievable experience to be able to provide that. I just feel it doing the work that I do, but it's a really great way to know your child is being taken care of. And then the second goal really addresses the biggest fear of every parent, and that is what's going to happen to my child when I'm gone. And that can be diminished if all the groundwork is laid. Your child has a good job where they can build relationships through work, social activities, and skills and talents that they can take with them as they move through life. Our guest today is going to help you with both of these goals. MDana Bellefeuille is a self-taught pastry chef, but she has famous chefs from the Food Network in her world, right, Dana?
I know a couple.
Okay,
I know a
very good.
couple.
Oh, I watch that network a lot. Self-taught pastry chef, entrepreneur who is the owner of the Village Bakery in Hayden, Idaho. Dana is herself dyslexic, which provide created all sorts of issues, I'm sure, when you were growing up. Did you know Richard Branson was dyslexic?
No, I didn't.
Uh-huh. Richard Branson
No.
is, and you can be successful. It doesn't matter. Where am I? Dyslexic has a son who is on the autism spectrum and a daughter who is physically disabled. Dana has combined her two passions of baking and helping special needs people with disabilities, and she opened the Village Bakery for just this reason. But Dana, it's the way you operate the Village Bakery that I find so unique and refreshing. And I really want to talk to you about that. But before we get there, first of all, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
It was a long time coming, everybody. She's
It
a
has
very
been.
busy person. And so I was lucky enough that she's here with us today. Um, you have a mission, a vision, and a goal. Could you please share that first? And then we're going to talk about how you run the business.
Our mission is to not only create jobs in our community, but to show the world what we can all do if we're just given a chance. And we're just being a beacon of light in our community and showing what it's really like, hiring somebody that is a little bit different than us, trying to take the stigma out of it to show that everyone has value and they're a pool of employees that is quite often overlooked. And these individuals will be the hardest workers you will ever have, and the ones that always show up on time, that come with the least amount of baggage and drama that the neurotypical world seems to thrive in, and creates this wonderful working environment where everybody gets along, everybody is so positive all the time, and it's just a joy to be in that space. It's a joy, not only for us, but for our customers as well.
Dana, my motivating factor that I shared with you in my initial introductory email was my nephew, John, who's co-host of the show. I've done interviews with him. He's 40 years old, and I've been in his life since he was born. Just starting this show is the new joy in my life,
Mhm.
because everybody who works in this field is happy and joyous
Very
because
much
they're
so.
right, because of what they're contributing to other people's lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Both your
Yeah.
son and your daughter do they work with you, or did
My
they at
daughter
some
used
point?
to. My daughter used to. She used to be one of my baristas. She is just graduated college with her AA, and she's looking to become a teacher. And she is currently getting her track times in with wheelchair track to be on the next Olympic team. So she has very high aspirations, and she's doing wonderful things in her life.
What
Yeah.
about your
And
son? This is
my son
great.
has been employed at a specialty hospital in the area for the last 5 years. And like you were saying, as a parent, we're always fearful about the future and making sure that our kiddos have a place in society, and that they are taken care of and respected, and that they will have a place. And I gave a talk a long time ago sharing, as a parent with a child with special needs, those dreams and wishes, and how grateful I was that the specialty hospital said yes to hiring my son. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the CEO was in the room, and he is probably 6'8" tall. He's a very tall man, and stood up and blubbered and cried like a baby, and said that hiring my son was the best hiring decision that he had ever made in his career.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
That
what we all want.
every employer of my nephew has enjoyed having him too.
Hmm.
And I agree with you. The work ethic is there, the desire to succeed and do everything well. And people love that. I've seen
Yeah.
people gravitate towards him.
Yeah.
And he even said to me one day, he called me, he went to Walmart with his mother. They live on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. And he said, Aunt Judy, I have an idea. Why can't we have people with Down syndrome be greeters at Walmart? Because they're so happy, they're so outgoing. And isn't that what you want when you walk into a store?
Absolutely. There was a woman that was in the other day that had two kiddos that were Down syndrome. And I looked at her, I'm like, did you win the lottery? Because that's exactly what she had in front of her, were two. And one was biological and one was adopted. And she's like, yeah, I won the lottery. I'm like, yes, you did.
And
Yes, you did.
you said that in one of the interviews that I was reading about that it's a gift. It is
It
a
is.
gift.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
and then
true gift.
well, and another friend of mine, Jennifer Navarro, who has a 7-year-old Noah, nonverbal, but communicates through the iPad.
Hmm.
I did her interview a few weeks ago, and she just said, I feel blessed that God gave me a special needs child. It has made me learn life differently.
Yes. And my story began years ago, having a child with a different, or not having a child, but being a different child with having a learning disability. And then I was visiting a friend who had just recently become a teen mother. We were both teenagers at the time. And I went to see the baby. And she was showing me this book about kids with special needs and God giving them to special parents. And I thought in my heart, I wish God would think of me as special. And years later, I got two.
Oh my gosh.
I got two.
Hard to keep the tears back. But yes, but I mean, such a wonderful thing to be able to look at it like that.
Yes,
You know,
definite blessings. Definitely. They are seriously all angels on earth. And a lot of people are really afraid about this community, and, a little standoffish. And I said, it's just a matter of language, and learning that individual's language. And once you understand their language, it becomes very easy to communicate. And they're like, aha. And so they've taken, more steps forward on communicating with somebody maybe on the spectrum, and taking time to learn their language and getting a best friend out of it.
absolutely. I just hired a neurodivergent person for my social media position because I needed help. And I said, well, let me be the employer that I'm interviewing. Let me take a step like that. And I really enjoy her tremendously. She's super smart. She's going to get the job done. I can't do it. So, but it made
Right.
me, but yes, I was explaining to a friend of mine over dinner the other night. I said, You have to be ready for a certain style of talking to know that it's not being abrupt, you're not being cut short. It's just the way it is. And if you can deal with it, it's easy. You'll get so much out of it. So I'm really happy. Um,
Good.
okay, so now let's talk about the Village Bakery. Some
Yes.
unusual things, and I need you to clarify. The worst part of looking for a job for a special needs person is the application process. What is that like with you?
We give them an application and they can have help filling it out. Usually a parent helps them, just something that we have on file. There is such a waiting list to get into the bakery. I don't have any more room to hire anybody else, but it is important that they work on that skill. And so that's something that we will either help them with, have a parent help them with, and sit down and just chit chat and talk and have a conversation. There was a young man that I did this with, and I didn't have a job available for him, but we shared a meal together and we talked. And his grandparents came back weeks later, and they were crying. And I'm like, "Oh, well, what can I do?" And I don't understand. And they wanted to thank me for not hiring their grandson. And I would have if I could have, but I couldn't. And he had had such a negative experience in his last position where he was not treated with kindness or respect. And it was negative. And he didn't want to try again. But after the conversation with me and sitting down, it gave him that confidence that he needed to go back out and try again. And he landed a great job and he's very happy in that position. So you never know. But to get back to that's one of the things that we do is we sit down and we have a conversation in an interview process. And for a lot of this pool of employees, these beautiful souls, they don't even know a lot of times if this is something that's going to be for them, and they're scared to even try. I had a young man, it took me a year to get him just in the door because he's on the autism spectrum and didn't want to be associated, with those people, totally above that one. And then we just again had a conversation. Did I have a position available? No, but did he need to get some job skills? Absolutely. So we set up a volunteer position where they can come in. I can start teaching them some of those skills. We can start building that confidence so they can go out and get a job. And this young man, even though he didn't want to come in for that year, once he was in there and saw what we did, I couldn't get rid of this young man. He was a go-getter. He would run circles around all of us, had the energy of a rabbit. He was go, 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 do, do, do. And I'm like, okay, let's go take a break. And he's like, oh no, I'm good. I'm like, no, dude, come on, take a break. But he had so much energy and he just wanted just to give and give and give and give and give. And talking to him and his mother and finding out what he wanted to do is he wanted to work like in a nursery or something, outdoors and digging in the dirt and that kind of thing. And I'm in a referral group up here in North Idaho, but it's national. It's called BNI, and it's very like-minded business individuals. And one of them had a landscaping company. I'm like, hey, I've got this kiddo, and his love language is being a workhorse. Would you talk to him? And so they had a phone interview over Skype or what I don't even know what this app is. And they decided to do a working interview with them. Same thing that I do. Get them in, volunteer, let's just see if this is something that's going to work out for everybody. And they hired him for the summer. He's working over 40 hours a week and having the time of his life. And it might not be that I have the job available, but I know some people, and let's get more people working and get them the job that they've always wanted to do.
Okay, so
So
this is the unique thing. So I want to flesh this out. I need you to explain this to me. Um, they fill out an application. I assume they come in to the
yes.
store.
Hmm.
Unlike you can fill it out online. I don't think that's the right approach for neurodivergent people. It needs to be a little more personal, a little more hands-on, and maybe small businesses are the way to go for just that reason. So they come into the store, they do the application. Now, here's where you just started explaining things, and I needed explained more. How many paid employees do you have versus volunteers?
I have over 30 paid employees.
Okay,
And the
that's
volunteers, I probably have in round numbers, maybe 10 to 15 that come in maybe an hour or two, a day or two a week. So we just kind of try to rotate them all through.
okay.
So what I really need to do is set up more of a volunteer schedule. So we know when we have, volunteer positions available and to create kind of like when our kids are in school and they have an individualized learning plan, the IEP,
Hmm.
something like that on things that we want to work on with that particular individual because everybody is so very different on what skills that they need to work on and have a internship set up so they can be there for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months as we're working on some of these skills so they don't get stuck just being a volunteer because the point is jobs and getting them what they need so they can get into the community and get those jobs. So we're just a lighthouse to start that process to build those confidence, build some skills, customer service, whatever it is, to
Money
get them that next job.
management, communication, taking
Mhm.
directions. This is what you
Yes,
listed, as what you do.
absolutely.
And see, that's what I found to be so unique. This is kind of like a learning center where
It
you
is.
might get paid if you were hired on and being in this line of work was right for you. But where did you come up with teaching people skills so that they can move through your bakery onto something else?
It's just ingrained. It's I don't know where it comes from. I don't know where it comes from.
Was
I've
that at the very beginning that this was
it's
part of
been
your
that,
game
yes,
plan?
absolutely from the very beginning because every job is so different and everyone's going to need some kind of training on site. I mean, when you're hired in a new company that you haven't worked for before, you don't know the ropes and you need to know the ropes. So food industry is exactly the same. You're still going to have to learn the processes of that particular space. We just go a few steps further in that that usually you might come with already customer service skills or math skills or whatever it is, but we just bring it back down to the bare minimums and say, okay, this is where we need to start and let's start building this up to make sure. There's a young gal with Down syndrome, and I think she's 14 and volunteering, and she has her mom with her, A, because of her age, and two, she needs a job coach. I don't have access to job coaches because of the flip. The government wants a neurotypical business and maybe one or two people that are neurodivergent in there to be able to get job skills through vocational rehab. But since mine is backwards, I cannot get access to voc rehab services. So I rely a lot on parents or friends
Hmm.
or community members to come in and be able to guide them with some of the steps that they are working on learning. So her mom is with her learning all these skills. I even had her out since it's summertime. We have plants out front. I even had her watering the plants, and dad was like, wow, I can now have her do this with me at home. So it's not just job skills, it's also life skills that they're learning. Separating laundry, doing laundry, what buttons to push and what we need to look for. They're getting all those skills, but it's just me basically pretending that you probably don't have any skills here. We're going to build those up and start at the very, very bottom and just watch you grow.
So when somebody applies, you either do or do not have a paid position, but does it matter more to you that if you have space to bring them in, you start working with them and identifying their skills and talents, and maybe they'll be right for you in the long run, but maybe
Absolutely.
yeah.
And sometimes there it's not going to be a good fit, but we still need to build those skills. We still need to get them to a place where they can go out and find a position somewhere else. It just it's going to be an individual plan, but it is really, really helpful when they do come in as a volunteer so they can get to know us and we can get
Mm.
to know them. And is this going to be a good fit? Or would we recommend a different avenue? There's a young gal that's working with us who's had seizures, and developmentally, she's a lot younger than she is. She just graduated from high school, really needs a job coach. Does very, very well with repetitive things. So we always have her do the exact same things when she's with us so she can build those skills, but she's going to need more than what I'm going to be able to offer her in the bakery. She's going to need more help. And I've already talked to the parents that, okay, these are going to be her next steps. Yes, I can, get her here, but that's not going to be enough. She's going to need to be here. And in order to do that, she's going to need a job coach and somebody that's going to be able to be by her side. When I as an owner running a bakery, during really, really slow times, I can work with some of the individuals that need more help. But a majority is I'm putting out fires and I'm fixing things and, running all around. And a lot of times, she's just kind of stuck because I don't have a job available for her. But if she had a job coach with her, they could work on a project together and I could continue to run around the bakery and do everything that I need to do.
I can't imagine how you do this. I literally can't imagine. I mean, there's so much work to do in a food business. And then you're a teacher, you're a guide. Do you sleep?
I do. That's about all I do. I
Jeez.
I I work 14 hours a day ish and then eat real quick, come home and crash and then get up and do it all again. So I'm at a point where it's really taking a toll on my body physically
Is it?
and I need more help. So we decided to really work on our not-for-profit and get that built up because what I'm doing is a school and it is a learning
Yes.
platform.
Yes.
And to be able to get grants and things to be able to hire job coaches, to get more people in there to do the things that I'm doing to give me more rest is where we're at right now.
So wait a minute. You either do now or want to do bring on job coaches?
Absolutely. We desperately need them, but I
Ah,
don't have access to them through the vocational
okay.
rehab
Okay.
because of my business model. If I was a neurotypical environment bakery, basic bakery that hires neurotypical people, and maybe one person that has Down syndrome or one person that's on the autism spectrum, I could get those people job coaches. But since I have 30,
Ah,
and a lot of them need job coaches. They're like, no, we're, and it's mostly to protect the individual with special needs that they are not put in an environment where they're going to be in a workhouse and taken advantage of. So I totally get it, and I can't fight that system because it's government. I'm just a small bakery in North Idaho trying to make a difference. So
hmm.
I have to rely on job coaches and I don't have the funds to be able to do that. And there is very little funds available through the individualized plans that they have through Social Security to be able to have the family pay for those job coaches. So if I can get a hold of grants that will make money available to be able to hire somebody to get them through an internship, then that's what we need to do next.
Okay. You spoke about money. What fascinated me is that you put a GoFundMe page together. and the community helped you get started.
Absolutely.
And it's because I was reading a quote from you. It's needed in the community, and the community got behind you.
Yes, yes. We have a big fundraiser at the end of the month that will go towards equipment and things that we need for the bakery. So we've just been doing little ones along the way. So we did one for Mother's Day, and now we're going to do one at the end of the month called Chillin' and Grillin'. And there's going to be like 30 classic cars there, and the whole point is raising more money to get our not-for-profit up and running, so we'll be able to create more jobs for more individuals in our community.
Are you looking to actually expand the bakery in so
I
doing?
physically can't right now with the toll that it's taking on my body. I would love to, but I can't right now. I have to protect myself right now because I am working too much. And the bakery, being a bakery is one of the hardest industries to make money in. And we haven't taken a dime, my husband or I, in the 4 years that we've had this bakery. The money isn't there. The point of this is the jobs. So if I were a neurotypical bakery, I would have maybe 6 employees
Mm-hmm.
and they would be working probably full time. Instead, I have 30 employees that are working part-time hours, 2 to 8 hours a day, just depending, a few days a week. And it is more than double what it would take a regular bakery to do. But the point is jobs. The point is building skills that they can take with them in other positions.
Understood. When do you know, or when do they know it's time to move on and look for another position? How does that work?
Quite a few of them do it on their own. They found their wings and they start to fly. And it's a beautiful, hard thing to watch your kids leave the nest. It really, really is. You're crying and you're so happy, but you're so sad, but you're so happy. It's
Yes,
exactly like raising a child and watching them go out into the world. But they know when
I
it's
do.
time. They
Okay.
do. They do. I have a young man that's on the autism spectrum that is out there pounding pavement looking right now, and we're encouraging him the entire way. And finding leads for him, and he just wants to be somewhere full time that can give him benefits. And unfortunately, that's something that I can't offer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someday, but with how the bakery is set up right now, there isn't the funds to be able to do that. So we build those skills, and then okay, now you're ready. Go fly.
I mean, all of this is so exciting and heartwarming. I I would love for you to address community. So the whole point of this was I watched my nephew when he graduated from high school many years ago lose his social community. And what it looks like with it, we all get friends from work. So all neurotypical people, we go to work, we build friendships, and then there's social activities. Quite often, the neurodivergent person doesn't have that opportunity. Even though they may get friendly with somebody at work, they require their parents to drive them quite often if they're not able to drive. And sometimes parents just get exhausted. But it's the joy that you're expressing in helping people that I would like to infuse other parents with, because take a breath, high school's over. Now the fun gets to start. Can you please address how important community is that is derived from the working environment?
I am in a position where I get a front row seat to watch miracles happen every single day. I have a young woman on my staff who is fairly typical, maybe a little quirky, but has found community and this space her own and is thriving in this space. And she has really taken the time to wrap her arms around our community and meets with them on a regular basis. They come to the bakery just to hang out. They go to movies and events just to hang out. And I have the parents that are worried that come to me, they're like, Dana, is this person okay? And I'm just like, she's cool. She's cool. I would have my kids hang out with her. She's awesome. And she'll drive, she has no problems driving. Her parents can drive. And I'm just like, you know what? Hang out with your child with her. You will totally get what I'm saying. You'll totally get it. So community is so very important. And we are also lucky in our area to have other programs that focus on that community. The challenge with, I would say, some of our people though that are on the autism spectrum, they don't want to be roped into, being part of that crowd,
Mhm.
even though they are. They want neurotypical friends and they want to do neurotypical things with neurotypical people. They don't want to be having this different ability and they want to just feel a part of the group.
Mhm.
So that is something that has been happening in our bakery through the people that work there, that they just want to get together and chill and hang out and do things. And it's beautiful to watch it happen. It really is. And for the community that needs a little bit more structure on outings, that there is that available here through another program. So all blocks are getting covered in our area, which is really, really good.
Um, I know one of the greatest fears of parents of neurodivergent kids is, well, I can drop you off at the mall and then I'm going to be completely worried that somebody has taken
Yeah,
advantage of you and all of that. And, don't we feel that way about any of the kids, regardless of typical, atypical, right?
absolutely.
But here's my thinking, and tell me if it's right or wrong. The more the community sees your child in a business, out with other people,
The
possibly,
more they engage them,
okay, thank you for
the
that.
more they engage them. Absolutely. Andrew, one of our kiddos, adults, I call my babies, he goes to the gym, runs into people from the bakery all the time at the gym. Emily has Down syndrome and she goes to another gym. And I get people in the bakery just because they ran into her at the gym, get into conversation, and she works at the bakery. So they got to come in and see this bakery because of her. So
Mm.
I get a lot of people that find my village in the village.
I mean, the village is a community. That's what I thought was so cool about the name.
Yeah.
Is that why you thought of the name? Because it
Absolutely, because
represents,
it takes a village. It
yes.
really does take a village. And all of our customers, when they see our staff out and about, they do interact with them. Absolutely 100%. Yeah.
Such a warm, loving community. And in this day and age, we need as much warmth and love as we can possibly get, don't we?
And I've had so many people come to me and say in front of others, like we're in a group or something, that if you're having a bad day, go to the bakery. Your life is just going to be changed in that moment. Just come. And a lot of people will come and they're like, this is like coming home, only to no home they ever knew. It's just, I don't understand it. It's not home, but I feel so at home here. And everybody is just so happy to be in that space.
I love it. So, parting comments to parents who are on the edge, a little bit of fear, but want to do something. Can we have some encouraging words for them?
Jump in. It is the most beautiful ride of your life to to find even something. And it can be plants, to start a little tiny garden, and it's just going to continue to bloom and continue to grow into something that you never saw coming. And it's going to be a blessing that is just going to keep pouring itself out over and over again. It's going to send ripples out into your community. It could be just be a little tiny thing, starting with walking a couple of dogs, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden your backyard's full.
Without a doubt, and as just a closing piece on that, when you put your child in community, you'll find things out about them that you never knew they could do.
Absolutely. And I could tell you story after story of things that have happened just like that in the bakery. Parents are looking at their child saying, I've never seen this before. I was telling you about one of the young ladies that needs a job coach. All of a sudden, she's doing things at home that she never did before. She's cleaning up after herself now. And it's just getting a front row seat to just watch these miracles and blessings happen and watching their kids grow. It's pretty special.
I love the way you said that. I just do. I want to thank you so much. I looked forward to speaking with you, and you did not let me down. I have enjoyed this, Dana. I have. Thank you so much for what you have done and continue to do. And we will have show notes, and I definitely want to put the address for the bakery because you can, do you mail out baked goods? Because they look
There's some things
phenomenal.
that we can mail.
Because you
There's some
did do
things we can mail.
online.
Yes,
You
yes.
started
There's a
online.
gentleman in Texas. He's like, anything that you can send me, just a standing order, whatever. I have a credit card on file. He's like, just send me stuff because he just wants to support the bakery. So every time I make sourdough, I'll send him a loaf, but cookies and brownies and those kind of things ship really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do the same, to be honest with you, because,
I'd be happy to put a box together for you.
oh man, when I went online to do research, I said I would be there right now to eat if I lived there, no problem. So thank you, Dana. And in the show notes, I'll have contact information if people want to ask you if they have been motivated to open a business now. Would you take a call or an email?
100%. I have done that all the time. I even have heard from people overseas in Singapore and other countries wanting to create a community like this in their community and how to get started. And if I can inspire anybody to work on a project that's like this to help get them started, if they want to FaceTime and see the bakery and see what we're doing, just to see a typical day in the bakery, I am happy to share
Wow.
because it's all about creating jobs.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you, Dana. I really appreciate this time.
Absolutely.
And thank all of you for watching and listening. And I will end with in the world of special needs, we all need each other. Talk to you next week.